to the video lecture of size reduction process. Myself, Sumita Saraf, lecturer of Metallurgical Engineering Department, UJ Rourkela. So today, in this lecture, we will learn about size reduction process. So, what is size reduction process? So generally, size and reduction are the two different terms. What is size? Size is the physical dimension of an object, and reduction is the reducing the size of process of converting the object from a larger lumps into smaller lumps. Here, from one physical dimension of higher order to the lower order. So size reduction is the operation that is carried out for reducing the size of bigger particles into smaller particles. So, ore contains solid phases in the form of aggregate, and the valuable portion is known as your mineral and the worthless portion is known as your gangue. So, ore lumps from the mines have the lump size that is generally 10 to 100 centimeter, and the individual mineral grains that is from 0.1 mm to the smaller one. So what is the objective of crushing? So here the objective of crushing is to reduce the large lump into smaller one, and it will cause the liberation. So comminution is also a generic term of size reduction. So comminution is also known as size reduction process, from where the larger lumps is converted into your smaller lumps. So basically, crushing and grinding are the two parts of size reduction process. So size reduction is done for ore, minerals, coal, rock and other material also. So now we will go to the classification part. Here we have classified the different crusher into four parts, that is primary crushing, intermediate crushing, that is secondary crushing, then fine crushing, that is coarse crushing, and fine grinding. So depending on the feed size and the product size, the crushing equipment are divided into the four types. So here the crusher are classified into their feed size and the product size. So for the primary crushing, the feed size, that is ROM, run-of mines, is from 150 to 4 cm, and for the product size we will get 5 to 0.5 cm. For the intermediate crushing or the secondary crushing, the feed size is 5 to 0.5 cm, and for the product size of intermediate crushing we have 0.5 to 0.1 cm. For fine crushing, that is coarse crushing, the feed size will be 0.5 to 0.2 cm, and for the product size it will be 75 microns. And for the last crusher, that is fine grinding, we have the feed size of 0.02 cm and the product size is 0.01 micron. So moving to the next slide, what is the mechanism of size reduction? So there are some mechanism behind the size reduction process, and the different mechanism are huge compressive force, that the impact force, cutting force, attrition force, rubbing action, then your high impact force. These are all the mechanisms that are responsible for breaking the ore particles or the mineral particles. So crushing is a mechanical operation in which a force of large magnitude is applied on the solid material that cause the failure or that cause the fracture. So a huge compressive force that exceeds the ultimate strength of material cause the size reduction. So by using our high compressive force, there are some equipment like jaw crusher, then gyratory crusher, roll crusher, in which the size reduction process will be done. So moving to the next mechanism, that is the high impact force that is responsible for the size reduction. We will use hammer mill and the ball mill. So basically, hammer mill or the ball mill is used for the grinding purpose. Okay. So the next mechanism are attrition, rubbing action, or the frictional force to be utilized for the size reduction process, and that mechanism is used in the tube mill, pebble mill to produce very fine materials. So the last mechanism, that is the cutting force, that is used to generally reduce the size of the fibrous material that are your asbestos or mica like materials. We will use to use that cutting to reduce the size. requirement for the size reduction equipment that we are using in our mineral processing, like jaw crusher, ball mill, hammer mill, pebble mill. So these are the basic requirement. And ideal comminution equipment like jaw crusher and diametric crusher should have large capacity. They will consume less energy per unit weight production and also yield a product of uniform size. So moving to the next slide. So this is the basic classification of size reduction equipment. So these are the types of equipment we use for the size reduction process. Okay. So primary crusher, intermediate crusher, fine crusher, fine grinders. These are the equipment, and this is the crusher types, and these crusher are also further classified into different type of crusher. So primary crusher, that is classified into jaw crusher and diametric crusher. Then intermediate crusher, that is further classified into your crushing rolls, pole crusher and disc crusher. Then fine crusher is also further divided into ball mill, cement mill, and then fine grinders also further classified into rod mill, pebble mill, tube mill, hammer. So these are the different equipment that is used for the size reduction process. As the size reduction process is a vast chapter, we will discuss in the next next video lecture. Thank you.